Hey everybody, Rory Foster here with Daniel Fischer, the Chief Operating Officer of Calico Spanish. Daniel, thanks for joining me today. How's it going?
Thank you, Rory. I appreciate you having me on, and I'm doing well. Thanks.
Awesome. When we first met Calico, when Leslie and I first were introduced to Calico in the early 2010s, I don't know, maybe 2011, 12, 13, somewhere in there, Calico was mostly focused on elementary schools looking for curriculum to teach to their students. But now it's over the years turned into a great resource for individual families.
Yeah, exactly. So we got our start back in 2008.
Okay.
And like you said, we were initially focused on the elementary school side of things. But over the years, especially as with technology, things have transitioned to more of an online based learning system. We've really been able to transition a lot of our curriculum content and expand to both like video based learning and audio and things like that. And that's allowed us to offer the curriculum to homeschool families in addition to elementary schools at a much lower cost point.
Oh, that's great. I know that your curriculum is amazing. In fact, we have some of your new comic books and everything for young readers. Um, what How can Calico be a great resource? Probably the bulk of our community and Common Ground come to us for learning Spanish as adults. And of course, people have families and children, and the kids want to have some exposure to Spanish as well. And so, how can Calico be used today for those families that either their kids don't have a Spanish option in elementary school, or they maybe have, I don't know, 30 minutes once a week or something like that? How can Calico be a good resource for these families?
Yeah, great question, Rory. And just a preface for any listeners here, what you've already said, which is that Calico Spanish, the curriculum is designed for elementary learners. And we are a standards based curriculum, which means we align with ACTFL and some of these
Oh,
other
yeah.
language learning standards.
Hmm.
And so, as a parent or as a teacher, if you're looking at Calico Spanish, what we can do for you is we have a curriculum that starts learners out at a beginner novice low stage, which essentially means they don't know any Spanish or they know very little. And then the aim of the curriculum is to progress them up to a novice mid proficiency level, which
Okay.
that doesn't really mean a whole lot in like real world sense. That means that you now have an ability to have some basic
Hmm.
conversations and understanding of conversations and various situations.
So for most elementary aged kids, this is perfect. Maybe for some of the elementary aged kids that are in a bilingual school setting or something, maybe it's too basic. Am I hearing that correctly? Or is it still good for students in a bilingual program?
Yeah, great question. And this kind of ties back into I didn't fully answer your question initially as well of like kind of the crossover between
Hmm.
families looking to involve their students in Spanish. We still see Calico used a lot in bilingual settings
Okay.
because the focus of the curriculum is on the ACTFL 5 Cs, which those stand for communication, culture, connections, comparisons, and communities.
Hmm.
And if I just kind of focus on the culture and the connections, that's a big piece of the Calico Spanish curriculum. Is we're focused on not only teaching kids the Spanish language, but also exposing them to the Spanish culture. Because, I mean, as you know, at Common Ground and everything that you guys do with your immersion programs, culture is a huge part of learning a
Oh,
language,
sure.
and so a lot of dual language immersion programs and things like that, they might be great at teaching the language, but lack a little bit in the culture, and that's a piece that we really try to bring to learners and make sure that they can connect like on a more personal level with the language and with the cultures they might interact with or go visit.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Daniel, one of the questions that every parent is going to have is, okay, what's my level of involvement with helping my kids through the Calico curriculum? And maybe I speak Spanish, maybe I don't speak much Spanish. Is Calico right for me? And how much am I going to have to guide them through these lessons on the day to day?
Yeah, great question, Rory. Thank you. So, in terms of involvement, the first thing you have to look at as a parent is the age of your child and whether they're pre-literate or literate.
Mm,
If they're pre-literate, your involvement level is going to be much higher because you're going to be guiding them through each of the daily lesson plans.
okay.
And then also just your own child, whether they're able to hold themselves accountable or not. I know I certainly would not have been able to hold myself accountable as a child, but each of the lesson plans, they are designed to be parent led.
Okay.
So the Calico Spanish curriculum is split up into daily lesson plans, and those give parents all the resources that they need to guide their child's Spanish learning or language learning journey.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of resources in there to kind of tie into your point about like what if I don't speak any Spanish and I'm trying to teach my child Spanish? There's a lot of resources in there that are specifically designed for parents and even teachers in the public school system that don't speak any Spanish but are teaching their children Spanish.
Awesome. And so it doesn't matter whether I speak Spanish or not. I can still use Calico with my student. And yes, I should expect some level of involvement in sort of not only just keeping them accountable, but leading them through the lessons a little bit. Is that what I understand?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. I would every family's different. You know, this curriculum would not work for someone that just wants to sit their child down in front of a screen and
Uh,
have them learn. But for the best success, I think, in learning a language, there is going to be parental involvement at this age group.
that's
It
yeah.
just it leads to. Go ahead.
That's a great point. When the parents are involved, the kids are certainly uh, learning more. And this actually could be perfect for some of our families with elementary age children who are preparing for a Spanish immersion program, and they want to find something for their kids to be involved in. And of course, the parents are excited about immersion as well. And so it could be a perfect fit where everyone's working together through the curriculum.
Yeah, absolutely. And likewise, I mean, it's a perfect fit for a lot of our own users of the Calico Spanish curriculum who are looking to kind of actually get involved in the culture
Hmm.
as opposed to just learning and reading about the culture.
Yeah.
And for families that are looking to go on a Common Ground international immersion trip, it's a great curriculum for kind of getting prepared, helping your children get prepared with a little bit of Spanish background. Each of the lesson plans are roughly 20 to 30 minutes long, and they're packed full of a lot of really fun videos, comic book stories, music videos, and things like that are all original to Calico Spanish,
Oh,
and
neat.
we're getting we get Instagram tags and things like that all day long from families that are enjoying watching those videos and engaging with the content with their kids. So it can really become a fun kind of full family experience.
Awesome. What does a typical lesson look like from start to finish? You say it's about 30 minutes and videos and comics. And so what's the flow? What's the progression of a typical lesson?
Yeah, great question. So the curriculum is split up into four levels, and we'll just focus on level A because
Hmm.
that's probably most applicable to any of your families that are interested in the curriculum. And right off the bat, when a family or a parent jumps into the curriculum, the lesson starts out with a list of can-do statements. And
Uh-huh.
these statements, they're designed to help you as a parent understand, okay, if my kids don't take anything else away from this lesson, I at least want them to be able to do this. So
Okay.
like the first lesson is just hola and adios,
Yeah.
and it's very basic. And then the lesson is split into various multimodal content, all with the idea that we are going to focus on these can-do statements
Mhm.
of learning how to say hola and adios, but let's also expose learners to additional pieces of Spanish content that just through exposure, they'll start picking up and understanding what some of those words mean. So a lesson will start out with those can-do statements. Then maybe the kids will have a daily video story
Mhm.
or a music video that they get to sing along to. And then from there, it goes from inputs where they're reading or watching, singing a video into
Mhm.
the outputs where they're actually practicing, outputting or speaking that Spanish and hearing that Spanish spoken back to them. So in a level A lesson plan, for example, there's both group activities for those pre-literate learners
Mhm.
and on paper activities for your literate learners who can read and write.
Awesome. That sounds great. And so, um, in addition to not being, I'm trying to think of how would parents, when they're thinking about Calico Spanish, what are some of the main differences that they would be thinking of when they think of Calico versus some of the other sort of self-contained apps that kids are accessing on their iPad or whatever?
Yeah, great question. The biggest thing is the multimodal context.
Mm.
An app like Duolingo, a lot of times you're only interacting with that word or that phrase in kind of one mode
Mm.
where you're doing mix and match games or you're being prompted to type out the word hola for hello,
Mhm.
but there's not a lot of exposure to other words, and there's not even a lot of different ways that you're hearing that specific word or phrase
Mhm.
spoken or like the interaction behind it. So that's a big piece behind Calico Spanish is that we try to bring learners on a Spanish learning journey.
Mhm.
So they join these Calico characters and they travel all around Latin America, actually being exposed to the culture while they're learning. And you see that in the lesson plans where even though they're just learning something basic like hola and adios, they're being exposed to those key terms or words and other words at the same time through different kind of modes of content.
Okay. That sounds great. And so, if a parent is interested in getting started in exposing their kids to Calico, uh, we've got a link down below the video where they can click. What would you suggest is the best place to start?
Yeah, best place to start. So for any parents that want to get started, we do offer exclusive homeschool pricing. It's $99 a year
Okay.
or $19 a month just to
Hmm.
get started. And if you use the code CGI15,
Mm.
you can also get 15% off your entire cart. And
Oh,
typically,
awesome.
what we recommend for parents is just get started with the curriculum license. That's a great spot to start, and all of the content is printable and downloadable.
Hmm.
And then from there, if you're interested in taking your Spanish language learning journey further, you can purchase some of the comic books and things like that as well
Oh, awesome.
for the physical print.
And so that $99 with 15% off, so that $85 or whatever it is,
Mhm.
um, does that give families access to all the levels? You start at the beginning and you keep going all the way up? Is that a year subscription? What does that represent?
Yeah, great question, and I appreciate you asking for clarity. Yeah, so it gives that $99 down to the 85 something a year. That's for the entire family, so it
Hmm.
covers an entire family of learning.
Oh,
If you have
wow.
2 kids, great. If you have 6 kids, even better, even better deal. And that covers all the levels, so it's great, especially for elementary, or homeschool families with younger kids, I guess is
Hmm.
what I should say, because it'll cover your kindergartner all the way up through your 6th grader
Hmm.
is the age range that will cover.
Oh, that's great. And whether families homeschool or not, as they just got kids in elementary age and they want some exposure to Spanish more than what they're getting at school, then this is a great opportunity for them too.
Exactly. Yes.
Wonderful. Well, thanks, Daniel. I appreciate the chance to chat with you a little bit and share what Calico is doing. We really love the Calico curriculum, and so if you're looking for an opportunity for your kids, your elementary age kids, to work on their Spanish, whether that's in preparation for an upcoming trip or just to have that exposure and to get that language learning started at home, you've got to check out Calico. Follow the link below and take advantage of some great pricing for a pretty dense curriculum. Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you, Rory.